All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It looks like it's 2 o'clock. Hi, Shirley. If you have a question already, you can come off mute and ask it. I think you're muted. There you go. Oh, no. You were muted still. Let me see if I can unmute you.
There we go. There we go. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Does it bother the bandwidth for us to have our faces showing, or is that a problem? Because sometimes it bothers the bandwidth when everyone's on camera. It takes more. So I don't know if you want us off camera or not.
Thank you for asking. I just recently learned that. I had no idea.
Yes, it acts up quite a bit when you have a bunch of people on a meeting. It seems to really become problematic when there's that many people on camera. So thank you.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it in our meetings in the past. So I will say I prefer to speak to people's faces so you can stay on camera. And then if we start having issues, we can certainly go off camera.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for mentioning that. I had
Sure.
seen that on another call. Yeah, all right. Well, as I said, welcome everyone. So excited to see you and let's see, there he is. I see Jason. I thought I had seen you a second ago, and then I was like, you moved. Where'd you go? So excited to have Jason from the FTC join us, and I will pull up his intro. And I just want to make sure, Jason, are you okay with us recording and posting on YouTube, our YouTube channel?
Sure. I always wanted to be a YouTube star, so you got to start somewhere, right?
That's right. Yeah, wonderful. All right. Jason Moon is a senior staff attorney at the Federal Trade Commission Southwest Region. Jason handles consumer protection matters, protecting consumers from deceptive and unfair practices through law enforcement and consumer education. He has worked on a variety of enforcement actions and investigations on behalf of the FTC, including matters involving pyramid schemes, telemarketing, charitable fundraising, and cryptocurrency. He also supports the agency's education mission by helping consumers spot, avoid, and report scams. Prior to joining the FTC, Jason worked in a private practice in Fort Worth, Texas, as well as with the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office. He is a graduate of Rice University and the University of Texas Law School. And one more question, Jason, do you want people to hold their questions then, or do you like them just thrown out as we go?
That's however you want to do it, Dana. I would say maybe hold them to the end, might work a little better.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Everyone, please hold your questions then. And Jason, the virtual podium is yours.
Great, thank you.
And we appreciate you doing this on short notice. It was unfortunate that Kelly got ill, but I'm sure you'll do a fabulous job, according to Kelly.
I appreciate that, Dana. Can everybody see my screen? With using FTC resources and dealing with identity theft?
I do not see a screen.
Okay. Okay, let me go a different way here. Sorry, it's trying to do Teams, PowerPoint within Teams, which I haven't done before. And so it's not
there it is.
Familiar. Okay.
Here it is.
Wonder if I could. Now I'm worried this is gonna see what this does. Oh, did we lose me again?
Perfect. No, it's perfect.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, thanks, Dana. Appreciate the chance to talk to you guys. Appreciate the chance to help out fellow Texans. Share a few resources about what the FTC has available for our senior Texans. Um, like Dana said, I am a staff attorney with the Dallas office. I've been at the agency for about 12 years. Love my job, really enjoy not only protecting consumers, but trying to educate people as well. Quick disclaimer, the views I express here today are my own, not those of any of the FTC or any commissioner. And for those of you who are not familiar with our agency, I wanted to start out, talk just very briefly about what we do. We are the nation's consumer protection agency, and our overall mission is prevent unfair, deceptive, or fraudulent practices. And we do that in a few different ways. We conduct investigations of companies that may be violating the law, and we bring lawsuits in administrative court or in federal court if we identify violations of the law. We enforce everything from the FTC Act to the telemarketing sales rule to the FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act. So a really broad range of activity in the U.S. economy. We also very involved in education for consumers, and that's mostly what I'm going to be talking about today. And then we work to form partnerships with law enforcement partners, state attorney general's offices, criminal enforcers, entities, organizations such as this one, where we're trying to do there is develop this relationship so we can find out what's going on that is affecting people, affecting consumers, and we can also share some information that we have. So what I want to do today is just go over some materials, resources that we have available. And I want to talk about three main categories of items. Let's see. First of all, I want to talk about our pass it on materials. And I want to talk about identitytheft.gov. And then I also want to talk about consumer.gov. And so pass it on. This is a series of materials that we have for seniors, specifically designed for seniors. It's available both online and in printed format. And it covers a variety of areas. As you can see, I have the link there where you can go to get this material online. It covers identity theft, imposter scams, which, anything where somebody's contacting seniors pretending to be a government agency or a company like Amazon or UPS, charity fraud. Healthcare scams are a huge problem for seniors, especially during open enrollment season. There's a lot of fake Medicare programs and supplement programs that are going around. Paying too much, and then these you've won scams that we've all seen. So we have materials that cover all of that. And I want to talk about why we call it pass it on really quick. Here's an example, some screenshots that we have. We have found that, seniors don't really like to be told to avoid scams, in the sense they don't like to be talked at about scams. Many seniors have heard this message before. Sometimes they feel like we don't appreciate their ability to understand or resist scams. And so we think it's more effective if we view this more as a partnership. Instead of talking at people, we want seniors to kind of engage with our efforts to get this information and pass it onto their friends and people they know that may have experienced these kind of problems. So we can imagine a conversation happening. Senior may be thinking, I know how to avoid these scams, but I've got other people that live in my community that I'm not so sure about. So what can I do to help them? So that's why we call it pass it on. And that's why the materials are structured in a way to encourage people to pass the material on to others. We've been doing this campaign since 2014, and it's been very well received for us. So here's a screenshot. So it's not super visible, but screenshot of the landing page on the Pass It On website that talks about the different categories that we try to educate consumers about. And here is an example of this one is an example about our materials, online materials that relate to tech support scams. And every one of these materials will start with a description of how they work, and then a to-do list. Here's what to do about scams. And then we also have videos at the bottom that will educate seniors about how they can avoid scams. And again, one of the approaches we like to make is, chances are good that someone has been scammed. They may not talk about it, but the statistics do, and they are more likely to talk to you before they are me. So please pass this information along. You'll also see whenever you go to one of these, there's a link to PowerPoint presentations, bookmarks to share. There's a link to an article. And I'll talk more at the end about how people within this group can access these resources. In addition to our online material, we have our printed material. And these are typically going to be a 1 to 2 page, very simply drafted, very clear and concise advice on how to avoid different types of scams. Like, for example, this one is a tech support scam. And the nice thing about these things is that they are completely uncopyrighted. Your organizations can get them and put your own name on them, use them for whatever purpose. They're intended to be adaptable, usable by any organization. So you can print these out off of our website. You can order them on bulk, and so your organization can get these and distribute them out to seniors. So whenever I do live presentations, I always make sure to take a big package of this stuff to hand out, and it's been very well received. So then let's talk a little bit about our identitytheft.gov website. And I think everybody knows what identity theft is. It's something that can be very devastating to a person. It can lead to financial losses. It can even lead to having a hard time finding a job, getting a place to live. That can turn into legal problems. Really devastating. And people oftentimes don't even know where to start when they find out that their identity has been stolen. And so the purpose behind identitytheft.gov is to give people not only guidance, but kind of a customized plan to recover if this happens to them. So I want to kind of walk through how it works. First of all our materials are available in multiple languages. You'll see a little drop down up at the top there on languages. I just counted them up earlier today. There's 13 different languages available. And so our consumer education people have put a lot of work into making sure this gets in as many hands as possible. So someone who's suffered from identity theft can go to this website. They can hit the Get Started button, and it will walk them through a series of questions trying to nail down exactly what happened, what type of identity theft they're dealing with, because there are at least 30 different types of identity theft that we keep track of. So once they've done that, it offers a streamlined process to report and recover. It offers a personal recovery plan for more than 30 different types of identity theft. So it'll walk you through step by step all the different steps you need to take to recover. It will people don't know that we have actually formed a relationship with the IRS very specifically. So that if your identity has been stolen in the tax contents, someone's filed a false return in your name, you can go on to this website and it'll walk you through the process, and it will actually prepare a IRS identity theft affidavit, which then gets submitted to the IRS, and that's a first step toward combating, recovering from identity theft in the IRS context. If it's not a tax matter, if it's some other type of ID theft, then the system will create an identity theft report, and it's basically equivalent of an affidavit. It fills it out for you and generates it, and then you can use it for a variety of different purposes. And I'll show you an example of what one of those looks like. So if you get an identity theft report like this, you can use it instead of a police report. And for examples, you might use it is if your bank, somebody's committed a fraud on your bank account, and you need to prove to your bank that your identity was stolen. If you're being contacted by a debt collector under a false debt that you don't owe, you can use this document, or you can file this document with the credit bureaus. And there are laws in place that require the credit bureaus to deal with identity theft allegations. So then after you've created this document, you can get sort of just a printed or emailed version of your personal recovery plan. But you also have the option to join, actually create a free account through identitytheft.gov. You don't have to get a personal recovery plan, but if you do, there's a lot of powerful things that the program can do for you. It can actually track your recovery plan so that you can monitor your progress. You can return anytime to update and do your affidavit. And then you get pre-filled letters and forms. For example, might create a dispute form for you that you send to the credit bureaus and fill it out, and you use it to dispute an inaccurate amount on your credit report that was caused by identity theft, would be just one example. And so that's a powerful tool as well. I think, Dana, actually, before I go into consumer.gov, I don't want to pour on too much material before we have opportunity for questions. So I'd like to open it up for questions if anybody has questions about our Pass It On material or our consumer.gov material. Okay, well, let's get on in then to consumer.gov. This is another free online tool that we offer. This one has a little bit different focus on it. This is not so much about avoiding scams or identity theft. This is more basic educational financial literacy material. And, you know, we understand that this is going to be too basic for many senior adults. But we can imagine a situation where, for example, somebody's spouse passes away and the spouse is the one that handled all the finances. And so you might imagine a senior Texan being in a position where they do need some pretty basic coaching tutorials on just basic issues we all face every day. So we do have a website. It's drafted in a way to address people, even people that have English as a second language. So it's very basic. And so it does cover a lot of different areas. We've got, let's see, we've got, it's going across the screen. We've got your money that has to do with various money management aspects. We've got credit and debt, and that covers any stuff having to do with your rights under the credit repair, the FCRA, Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. We've got a segment on college and career schools, purchasing automobiles, and of course our material on scams and identity theft. And I wanted, it's just an example of the materials, wanted to go deeper into the Your Money tab. So if you click on the Your Money tab, you've got several subtopics within there, but very basic things: making a budget, opening a bank account, your paycheck explained, using debit cards. And then at the bottom, so you can go within these and it will provide you more specific advice on all those items. Here's an example of the making a budget. And it explains you not only what a budget is, but how you make a budget. It's got all your different steps in it. It's got a video that's linked here that explains basic budgeting concepts. It may be hard to see on your screen, but we've got a hyperlink here that links you to a budget worksheet. And so several of these presentations will have links to documents that consumers can use to address different issues within this field. So, and here's an example of a budget worksheet. Again, very basic, but may come in handy for people who don't have as much experience with this type of matter. Okay, so if you may have seen at the bottom of our consumer.gov, it's are you a teacher or a service provider? And this is where people can go to get the resources that we talk about in these segments. Click on get resources. You can find videos, worksheets. Here's an example under the money section of various free resources that you can get within this field. So again, encourage people to go to our website and get these materials, and we want to get all the stuff out as broadly as we can. Going to skip a slide here. So if your organization wants to get some of these materials, we have a bulk order website you can go to. And again, these are not copyrighted, so you can use them for whatever purpose you want. But you go to there, you can order them, and shipping is free. And they'll send you a big box of our various stuff. And we do have them in multiple different languages. So been very powerful and very helpful for consumers. So we also encourage people to go to our consumer alerts. You can go there and sign up for an alert, and you'll actually receive alerts from time to time from our website talking about might be the latest scams, latest subjects of interest that we want to get the message out on. So. Okay, that's all I have. Dana, I'm going to turn it over to questions if anybody has any questions about what we've talked about today. All right, very good. Well, thank you all for your time. And Dana, if it's okay, I'm going to sit around and listen a little bit and learn more about your organization.
Absolutely. We'd love for you to join us. Yeah, Shirley, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I actually have a question. For Jason. I was just wondering if, Jason, you can discern when people, because I've known this has happened to several women that I know that are senior age, when they get caught up in one of those romance scams, is there any opportunity where the people do get reimbursed for the funds, and is that considered thievery of some regard, is the other question.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of situations, it would be considered fraud, wire fraud or some other type of fraud, probably a federal crime. So we would not, we're a civil prosecuting agency, so we track romance scams and we try to warn against them, but that would be a criminal matter generally to try to get the money back. Sometimes it's hard because I'm sure you've heard these originate overseas, and it's hard even for criminal authorities to get in there and seize assets and get money back for people. So those are really tragic, and that's why we work really hard on the front end to try to get people not to fall for those.
Yeah, because I know, people have had, hundreds of thousands, even into the million category of romance scams specifically is what I'm referring to, where they capture you like on Facebook or, Facebook or say maybe a dating site. So those are several examples that I know, and I know the FBI's got some really high numbers of what they're tracking on that. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you.
Sure. I'll just say that another recent, just so everybody knows, the more recent version of that is they're trying to get you to invest supposedly in like a cryptocurrency type investment. So instead of just asking for the money outright, they'll try to sucker you into a Ponzi scheme or something like that. So
Yeah, right. Okay. Thank you. And then we have some more queued up. We have Lindsay that has a question. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yes. Hi, Jason. Thank you for the information you shared. I'm actually a colleague of Dana's and work with Guardianship Services. And I had a kind of a two-pronged question. The first question is, what, if anything, is the FTC doing to inform consumers aside from digital resources, which we promote them and they're fantastic resources, but I mean, obviously you all have the ability to do like a mass mailing to people's homes, and has that ever been discussed? And the second question I had is, we're actually launching an awareness campaign regarding the Bitcoin ATM machines. And through that process of building, I'm learning that there are some machines that have the ability to have stipulations like you can have the funds returned to you after funds have to be verified. I understand how the digital wallet works now, but are there any guidelines that could be put in place at a federal level that says you have, how is that determined, I guess?
Right. So on your first question, I'm not aware of us actually doing a mail out to consumers. I imagine that would be pretty expensive. I don't know that I would have to, that would be something for our consumer education people. We do, so that's one of the reasons why we have regional offices. And so we can get the word out that way. We can actually get people to come out in person. And so I've said on, community fairs, police, events, any number of things. And so that's part of what we're trying to do is get people in person out of our office, out talking to people and try to spread the word that way. So I'd say that in our digital resources and then just our printed materials is our main efforts on that. On the Bitcoin machines, that's not something I'm familiar with. I have actually worked on a cryptocurrency scam before, but it didn't involve a Bitcoin machine. My guess is that probably the banking regulators are going to be working in that area since that is, I think most of the time those are going to be supported by an actual bank. And so I think the banking regulators will take the lead in that area, possibly also the SEC. When we work on crypto issues, we tend to work more on scams like, crypto coaching scams. The case I worked on was just a straight up chain letter, pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme type deal. So that's what we tend to do. But I think the banking folks hopefully are going to be the ones that are going to work in that particular area.
All right.
Thank you.
Rhonda, you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. Hi, how are you all?
Great.
Hi.
Thank you so much for the information that you provided. That's really helping me. I'm working on my master's in victim service management at Sam Houston State University. So this is really going to help my project. In my research, I came across two elderly females that were in need of money. So they went online to try to get a loan. They both encountered this one site that is taking asking them to give their banking information and saying that they'll give them like $5,000 or more, but then they're requiring them to go to Office Depot and pick up some checks to write
Oh,
them.
wow.
So I kind of explained to them that, I didn't have all the information that you have here. So, but I was trying to explain to them that didn't sound right, and don't do it. But I was just wondering if you had encountered that type of activity and what should I tell them the next time I see them?
Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's I hadn't heard the Home Depot checks thing before, but I mean, we get a ton of scams where people have to go and buy iTunes, back when they had iTunes gift cards and, or Walmart gift cards or whatever. And that's a very common, and that's one of the number one things we tell people. I mean, there are millions of different kind of scams, but the thing they almost all have in common is weird ways of payment. Either you have to wire somebody something, or you have to buy gift cards. And so scammers generally are not going to ask you to pay with a credit card, which does not say you shouldn't be careful, but at least with credit cards, you have the right to dispute transactions and it gives you some form of protection. But these other methods, also cryptocurrency, I mean, once they're gone, they're gone. So that's why scammers like to use these. So it's a great advice to teach people to really be wary about the payment methods for any type of thing like this.
Yeah, all right. I don't see any more questions. Any other thoughts, questions? All right. Thank you so much, Jason. We appreciate your
you.
presentation. You can stop sharing now. And we will continue on. Oh, Gail says, Jason, thank you for providing this helpful information in the chat. And where did my Oh, and there's another comment. Sorry, I was looking for my agenda. Okay. Where did the chat go now? What did Robert say? Did you get to read it? I think, oh, okay. Robert was checking in. He's from Weslaco. Actually, I don't know how to say that. Is that right, Robert? Weslaco?
It's Westlaco.
Weslaco.
It's
Weslaco.
short for Westland Company.
Oh.
That's the way the tongue is formed.
All right. Well, glad that you were able to join us, and everyone else who is new. I see lots of other new faces or names. And in the past, when we finished early, sometimes we have tried some breakout rooms or some introductions. We'll see how this meeting goes, see how quickly we can get through it. I will share my screen since I have the we have worked on the committee updates of their objectives for the year. And for those of you who may not be on a committee or those who haven't joined yet, we have the collaboration committee, the professional education committee, the older adult committee, and resources committee. And I did do a committee email request to sign up, and a reminder this last Monday. We have until Friday to collect all the names. Anyway, the collaboration committee updated their
I need a strategy for how we can get shelf-stable meals out to those clients. If we order them, that's Ms. Brown.
It's part of that plan that I sent you.
go. Oh, I was wondering, I thought that was for me. I was like, what are we asking? All right. So we are sticking with the very similar objective for the next year with the collaboration / membership committee, recruiting 3 or more professionals from each of the 11 regions and working to get them to meet in the region and plan education for communities, older adults and professionals, and do some advocating and collaborating. Professional Education Committee updated theirs to shorten it a little bit, identify subject matter experts and topics for the educational program for this. I forgot to change that to summit. The summit, the coalition meetings like this one, and topics for quarterly newsletters. So instead of monthly newsletters, it's quarterly. And the Older Adult Committee organized awareness event for World Elder Abuse Awareness Day and develop community information sessions and distribute information to homebound older adults. And resources committee, I just continued, since we don't actually have one yet, generate 200,000 or more to continue and expand statewide efforts. And that's generally just an FYI in case you forgot to let me know which committee you want to belong to, or if you were curious what their focuses were and what the efforts were. That's the objectives for the next year. And you can email me by Friday and let me know about any committee you might want to participate on. And then the updates for the committees, the collaboration committee, still inviting new members, and I attached the Texas Elder Justice Coalition flyer to the email with the agenda so that you can continue sharing, building on this momentum we have to invite others to participate and help us build a very strong coalition to support each other. The Native communities, we have 2 out of the 3 that have agreed to participate. And the dashboard map, we are going to start working on that very soon. Kristen Reuter with UNT Health Science Center is going to help me collect the information. So be on the lookout, because we will create kind of a heat for a map with that state of Texas and the regions there below on the screen, and help us kind of track where our coalition members are and what gaps we need to fill in. I started a monthly introduction on the fourth Tuesday at 2. I realized, oh, I see Shirley has a question. Go ahead, Shirley.
Yes, I just wanted to compliment you on the flyer. I really liked it. The flyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate that.
sure.
Yeah, Lindsay gets a lot of credit for that. If she's still on, she made it look pretty for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, so very proud of that flyer and encourage everyone to share it. So there's new monthly introduction meeting. So if you know anybody who might be interested in the coalition, but doesn't quite want to just jump in the middle of a coalition meeting, which I realized recently that it made a lot more sense to kind of create a pathway into the meetings instead of just showing up to the meetings and trying to figure out what's going on. So had one of those in January and an orientation meeting just prior to this call. So hopefully that was helpful for those who participated in that. We did get some new members from that and very excited. The Professional Education Committee has been working on the Summit program and the monthly speakers and the Elder Justice Awards that we hope to get some applications for and will award at the Summit. And nope, that's not it. Actually, I'm going to go into that in a minute. So lots of effort there. Thank you to everybody on that committee as well as the other committees. The Older Adult Education worked on Stop the Stigma and hoping to really get more momentum for that during the summit, since we have heard and know that often the stigma of reporting is what stops older adults from reporting. So we want to help make it victim friendly. Then we also are have talked about creating a speaker bureau, and basically that would be not a publicized list, but a internal list that individuals on the coalition can sign up for, and we will make entertain invitations to speak and find speakers that are on the speaker bureau to participate so that we can what's the word? Not spread it thin, but more hands, lighter work kind of thing. And the folding wallet card. So we talked about this at length in the most recent committee meeting, and it's a work in progress, but the concept is to create a wallet-sized card and taking the idea of using a folding wallet-sized card that can hold more information, and older adults can put in their wallets or share with their friends, and it would have all the information about reporting financial exploitation on that has the same information that's on our website. Of course, it has in these little black lines here, so you can imagine where it might be folded, and that's where I realize it doesn't actually work so well. So it's a work in progress, but we're getting close. Has in case of emergency, and then of course financial exploitation of an adult in Texas by a known person, and encouraging, has that call to action, take action, report instances to your local police, and then of course to APS. And we know that that's like the most prevalent form. So we are actually considering maybe just keeping it simple and not having all this information, but I'm definitely interested in comments on this. Definition of financial exploitation, how to get more information or edit information, website, and then on the back side, the other ways to report financial exploitation in Texas. So if it's in a nursing home, assisted living facility, home health, hospice, different steps, and it directs them to the website. If it's a long-term care that receives Medicaid funding, a slightly different process. If somebody uses information to open new accounts or make purchases, different type of action, and then scam or fraud by a company or scam or fraud by an unknown person. So hoping to finalize this soon. It's in a draft form, I would say, still. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and see if anybody has any thoughts or questions, comments.
Are you going to send that out? I don't recall actually seeing that for
Right.
additional comments.
No, I did not send it out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been discussed in the committee meeting, and Nisa, I don't think she's on, but she's had a good couple of reviews of it for me, and I appreciate that. The committee's talked about some other formats and options, but this is kind of the where it is now. So I was curious if anybody on the coalition had any thoughts, if they think it'd be helpful, if the font's too small, if a different format might help. Imagine, or one of the ideas that came out of the committee meeting was doing a small run and kind of testing it out. And I think another concept or idea is just having a flyer so that anybody across the state could download it and share it that way. But just want it to be top of mind, easy to access, easy information for older adults or people who come into contact with older adults, so that they can provide that information, because that's one of the big gaps that I hear is that people don't know where to report, and some people don't even know they can report. So just trying to do some educating and creating a resource.
Is it possible, and so I know some of the older adults may not use this, but some will, to put a QR code on there so that it has a direct access, so they're not carrying around this long list of things?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm not sure what the acceptance of QR codes for older adults are,
I
but
mean, I'm an
that's-
older adult, and I have friends that are in their 70s and 75, and we all use QR codes. If not,
Right.
we know their family does, their younger generation, but
Sure.
it's an option. You know, you can have a
Yeah.
choice. It's an option.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that would simplify it a lot.
It would.
Dana,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I just got an idea with what she said. I
Yeah.
have problems with QR codes. I work with the elderly, I mean, every day, and I know they have a lot of problem with that QR code. He said they went to some other agency. They sent them the information. Said, I don't know. They send me this square. I don't know what to do with it. And maybe it might be a good idea that for the coalition to start training people on QR codes. You want to know how to use one? You know, maybe at health fairs, etc.
Yeah.
Just explain to them how simple it really is once you get to know how to use it.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, they all carry that. They all carry that cell phone that we really don't understand.
Right. Yeah, certainly. I see your
Yeah, I'm
hand.
sorry. I ask a lot of questions. Sorry about that.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we're working with a digital technology grant here at the Capital Area Agency on Aging. And that was, I just appreciate Robert's point that I think a lot of older adults don't know how to use the QR code. And I think that could even be plugged into some of the training. I'll talk to my colleague about that and ask her if she at least has one class on that, or
Mhm.
using the apps for that, because a lot of them will do understand a link, but they won't understand a QR code. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that anyways. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Gotta find my right tab again. Yeah, those are good, really good comments. Thank you. All right, and already started talking about the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which will be June 15th, 2025. And see, that's only 4 months away. And we will, there are enough people to have a resources and sustainability committee. So we'll start meeting soon and discuss summit sponsorship and funding of the Texas Elder Justice Coalition for the future. Also wanted to cover, it looks like our social media stats are improving ever so slightly, but a little bit of progress is good. The links are in the agenda if you'd like to follow Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. Side comment, all of our previous meetings speakers are in our YouTube at Texas Elder Justice Coalition channel page. So if you want to peruse those and follow on YouTube, you can see that. We do have a new date for some of you who have been around a little while. The original date for the summit was June 11th, but strike that because we have a new date. It's out now going to be Tuesday, June 10th at Lena Pope in Fort Worth. Have a draft program, which I did send attached to this email, to the agenda email, and the sponsorship invitation, as well as an invitation to register as an early bird through February 28th. And quickly, it is fleshing out very nicely. Our theme is awareness, prevention, and action. There will be CEUs available. There will be limited space, not only in the exhibition space, but also the seating. Sponsorship and booths will be available. Our keynote will be Dave Lieber, watchdog investigative columnist for the Dallas Morning News and Dallas.com. He has a great presentation on creating great stories, being the ultimate communicator. We have invited Detective Jeff Prater. I know this coalition really appreciated his presentation last year, and he's willing to ask up the chain to see if he can have permission to join us that day and present, but he is definitely willing. And he will talk about current state methods, some examples, case studies, and then we are going to talk about the diverse aging population and how to tailor for education and services against financial exploitation. We have a working best practices in business presentation. Have not identified speakers for that one yet. Kelly Slaughter, Eric Warner, Jacob Karn, and Keegan Martin are invited to present to us federal and state and local resources. And then we have a panel that we will invite to discuss realities of prosecuting financial exploitation in Texas. And we'd like to have geographic representation. So Nathan Martin here in Fort Worth has agreed to present in this panel, and I am currently looking for other people in some of the other cities that are working together and what they're finding and how they're making it work. So then some wrap up and networking, and it'll be a super packed day. Any thoughts or questions on that? It's filling out nicely, I think. Any ideas, thoughts, comments? All right. What is next on the agenda? We are quickly coming to the end. Oh, recapping the legislative priorities that I've identified through the other organizations, leading edge, strengthening the long-term care workforce and protecting the most vulnerable Texans. Senior Source, another advocacy group who is focused on elder financial abuse protections. Texas Appleseed, enhancing tools for survivors of domestic violence to recover from financial abuse, and adopting new consumer protections to address frauds and scams related to residential solar panels. I think I saw Ann pop on. She's going to be our presenter next month, and we'll talk about that. And then AARP, preventing and fighting elder exploitation and fraud. And then Texas Silverhead Legislature has financial exploitation as one of their priorities, and also has another one that's related. I didn't get those entered in though because the website was acting up. So that was kind of strange, but I'll get it in there for the future. And then next monthly meeting, like I said, Texas Appleseed and Fedor will present. And then in April, we'll have Dr. Marcela Nava. And we are really running tight on time here. Any thoughts, questions about any of the reports, new business ideas?
Well,
Anything happen over the last? Go ahead.
Something that I've been bringing up since the start of the new year.
Okay.
In case you all aren't aware, there's a lot of baby boomers out there, right? And I haven't counted them all, but I do know that the youngest baby boomers are going to turn 60 years old this year, and the oldest are only 80. And I say only 80 because they have a good chance to go into the mid-90s and possibly beyond. Mm-hmm. And we need to make the public aware of that. We're not going to die off anytime soon.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts or questions? No? Okay, great. I will adjourn, and I guess if anybody wants to stick around and network for 5 minutes and introduce themselves to some of the new people who are on, that sounds good. I can, you're welcome, Shirley. I can name off people as we go. I think, Robert, you were on last month, weren't you?
I've been around about 2-3 months now.
2 or 3 months. Okay. Okay. So whoever wants to stick around and say hi, I will start naming off names unless they disappear. I see people falling off pretty quickly. So thanks for participating, and we'll see you next month or sooner. And Janet, you're the top of my screen. Did you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Janet Standifer. I live in Weatherford, Texas, and I've worked 44 years as a speech language pathologist specializing in degenerative and neurological diseases with adults. And I retired as a speech pathologist, but I have a company called Dementia and Perspective, and I focus completely on with families who are caring for someone living with dementia, but also with healthcare institutions, communities, businesses, you name it, and really have a true love in my heart for taking care of the older adult population, because they seem to be the most vulnerable outside of the children. And it just really torques my jaw to see that they're being abused in so many ways. So I do have a mission as well, and I think the coalition's just going to follow that path. And I'm willing to do anything I can to help. I do a lot of seminars on just normal aging and not normal aging, and things that happen in between. And yes, Robert, we are here for a long time if we can take care of ourselves and quality of life. So I'm excited to be part of this and see what the Lord has for us in the future.
Great. Thank
Your
you.
cat's behind you. Janet,
Yeah.
your cat's sitting there behind
Oh,
you.
how funny.
Chloe
On
is
the
my
chair.
office partner.
All
She likes to sit there when
right.
I'm working.
Oh, man, we're running out of time. Joseph, Frank, would you like to say hello?
Sure. My name is Joe Frank. I'm a prosecutor in Harris County, that's Houston. And thank you for having me. I prosecute crimes against the elderly. Recently, we've rotated, and now I do exclusively financial. So been doing it for a while, been a prosecutor for about 15 years. So that's who I am and what I do.
Great, great. I really need to talk to you. I see that Nathan is still on. I guess Nathan may be your counterpart here in the Fort Worth area. Do you two know each other by chance? Do you know, have you ever heard his name before?
No, I don't know Nathan. He's with the FTC. We probably don't deal with them a lot. Our crimes are local.
Yeah.
And he's FTC, I think he said it's all civil, and I'm all criminal.
Yeah, that was Jason Moon. Nathan
Jason
Martin.
Moon. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan Martin. No, yeah, I did see. Yeah, he's with Tarrant County.
Yes, yes.
I know the name, don't know him.
Yes. Okay. All right. I don't know if he's still, if he wants to say hi. He's not a new person, but he may. Is he there?
I'm here.
Did you want to say hi to your counterpart there in Houston?
Blake.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Oh, I see. Okay, his mic isn't working. Got it. No worries. Maybe we can all meet at another time. And then we have Christina Mena. Is that
Mena?
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, hi. Yeah, I'm Christy Mena. I'm a professor and regional dean for UT Health Houston School of Public Health, but I'm in El Paso because I'm the dean of the El Paso campus. We have 6 campuses throughout Texas, and I'm vice president of civic and business engagement for the Texas Medical Center. And thank you for having me. I'm a daughter of a 90-year-old father, and my mom's 89 with dementia, and they live in Indianapolis, and he takes care of her. And some of a couple, I guess, professional things that I'm doing in this space is we've just brought from Harris County Health geriatric accreditation to the county hospital in El Paso, so that we have accredited hospital wings to address this, the needs of the geriatric patient population. And then I also, part of our graduate degrees, we're the first of its kind total worker health, that in a PhD that addresses, we're living longer than ever before, and we're working longer than ever before, and we have just greater exposures than ever before. And so in that space, we're pursuing that. And then I did have the opportunity to work with the Texas Silver-Haired Legislature recently, Alicia Dijon Davis, who's been very active here in El Paso. So thank you again for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for joining. And then We're at 3 o'clock. I don't know if anybody wants to hang on. I see Rhonda, Kristen, Jessica, Dr. Amin that are all new too. So if you want to stick around for a couple minutes, I'll leave it open and you guys can introduce yourselves to who's left.
Yeah, I've got to go, but it's nice to meet all of you.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Thanks for joining.
you.
Kristen, did you want to say anything? Dr. Reuter?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Kristen, and I'm a clinical social worker, assistant professor with UNT Health Science Center in the Center for Older Adults, and I'm glad to be a part of the team and taking over Susanna Luck-Jones's spot since she transitioned out of UNT Health Science Center, but we are definitely glad to be a partner in this and nice to meet everyone, see everyone. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Dr. Amin Iftikhar, did I say that right?
Yes, you got it. I'm Dr. Iftikhar Amin. I'm a professor at UNT Dallas. I teach applied gerontology courses. We have a certificate in applied gerontology. And I had the opportunity to work with many organizations around here. And I chair Age Well, Live Well Dallas Coalition. And I worked with nonprofits and Dallas Area Gerontological Society and various organizations, Senior Source. Basically, I have been with UNT since 2010, so 15 years now, and I graduated from UNT student. So
okay.
Glad to be here. And nice meeting you all. And I do teach cultural aspect of aging, and I try to do like minority aging, sustainable housing, and all that, all kinds of stuff. And recently, we received a grant from SAMHSA to provide mental health first aid training. Matter of fact, we are offering several trainings for UNT Health Science Center and other organizations around here who work with older adults and mental health awareness. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And Rhonda, did you want to hop on and say hello to everybody who's left?
Yes, hi. I kind of mentioned earlier, I am a student in the graduate program at Sam Houston State University under victim service management. I did work for various different police agencies as an emergency communication specialist. And my aging parents, before they passed, were financially scammed. And my father passed away from dementia. So that really, and all my life, I've always been catered to the older adults. And so now that I'm an older adult, I want to make sure that I make other people aware or educate other people regarding those financial scams, because I saw what it did to my parents. But that's why I went back to school. That's why I'm getting my master's. And I am so happy to be here. My project brought me to your agency, and I'm looking forward to great things in the future.
Great, thank you. Yes, very excited that you're all here and you stick around to hear about each other. That's awesome. I feel like that's one of the most important things that we can do as a coalition is just to connect everyone and learn from each other. So thank you all for being here and for your time, and see you soon. Bye.
Hey, Kristen, Dana, can you stay for a minute?